Hello and welcome everybody to today's public information meeting on the flooding situation that continues in the Thompson-Nicola Regional District. My name is Colton Davies. I am the information officer for the TNRD's Emergency Operations Center based in Kamloops. Today's Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Starting with our land acknowledgement, the TNRD would like to acknowledge that it connects with many First Nations communities across our vast regional district, and today are located on Kamloops to Secwepemc territory, situated within the unceded ancestral lands of the Secwepemc Nation. The TNRD appreciates the partnership that we have with Kamloops to Secwepemc and respect the territory and land on which we gather here today. So thank you for joining us. We're now well into the holiday season. Many residents in our region are dealing with and have dealt with a tremendous amount of grief and loss this year caused by flooding and other emergencies that we have had. I understand your hardship, and the TNRD is continuing to provide support on a daily basis and is working to connect residents with agencies that can also provide support. Obviously, that is a key reason for why we hold these public info meetings. So please know that we continue to be with you during this incredibly challenging time. I'll remind quickly that this meeting is being recorded. It will be available shortly after its conclusion on the TNRD YouTube page. We'll also share that link on Twitter and Facebook once it is available for anyone who misses part of this meeting or would like to watch it after the fact. And if you'd like to ask a question, participants can submit any questions into the Zoom chat box. You'll see that on your right. I'll answer any questions where I can on behalf of the TNRD, and I'll pass any questions along to any of our speakers, whether that's who are physically taking part, or I'm able to also pass those on after the fact, after this meeting concludes, if questions come up and our speakers have either left or aren't available on the line today. So with that in mind, we will have a number of updates on flood relief and recovery. Before we get to the updates from the TNRD, we'll have BC Hydro Community Relations spokesperson Sally Watson. We'll also have Christine Carlson from the City of Merritt. She is the Resiliency Center branch manager. And then we'll have written updates from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, from TELUS, and from Interior Health. So now we'll go to our first presenter and BC Hydro. I'll pass it over to Sally Mcdonald, as mentioned, the Community Relations spokesperson. Sally, I hope I got your title right, and please go ahead.
Yeah, you did. Thanks very much. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to start off by saying that particularly during the holiday season, our deepest sympathies are with those of you who have been impacted by the floods. We know this is an incredibly difficult time for you, and particularly during the Christmas season. We're doing everything that we can to assist in the recovery process to rebuild our system and to restore customers to all of our restore power to all of our customers who've been impacted. I just wanted to give you an update on where we're at with our restoration at the moment. We've restored power to roughly 70% of our customers along the Highway 8 corridor. There are 50 customers that remain without power. All of those remaining customers will require extensive highway reconstruction and large-scale rebuilds of the lines in new locations in order for us to be able to restore their power. We're expecting that will take some time to plan, get permits, and to complete the work, and it will be several weeks to months before we can restore power to those remaining 50 customers. In the City of Merritt, we're continuing to actively work with the city to reconnect customers in the Garcia Street and Priest Road neighbourhood. Since December 3rd, we've restored 86 customers in that area, and we're working to restore the remaining 42. To make sure that there are no electrical safety concerns in those homes as a result of the flooding, all of the remaining customers will need to have a qualified electrical contractor inspect their equipment before we can reconnect their home. In the Highway 5 area, along the Coquihalla, we have 42 customers who remain out of service, and those are predominantly industrial customers. There are very few residential customers in that block. Our restoration work along Highway 5 is progressing steadily. We're working really closely with MOTI to coordinate work in that area and restore power to our customers. We've completed 21 pole replacements, made underground civil repairs, and we're preparing to replace overhead conductors along a 2-kilometre section. The timing and completion of that work will depend on access and weather conditions, but we expect that we should be able to complete that later this week. So I also had some information about financial help that's available for evacuees in the form of bill credits. Residential and commercial customers who are affected by an evacuation order are eligible to receive a credit for the electricity consumed for the duration of the time that you're out of your home if your evacuation order is for 5 days or longer. So we proactively monitor evacuation orders year-round to identify those customers who are affected by evacuation orders, and we automatically apply a credit to your account. There's no need to call us and let us know that you're affected. We do that proactively, and the credit will be automatically applied to your account. And we also have flexible bill payment plans available to help you out with your hydro bills when you are able to get back in your home. And we suggest that you give us a call at 1-800-BC Hydro to get the ball rolling on that financial assistance if you should need it. And yeah, that's all that I needed to share with you today. I'll pass it back to you. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
It's Sally, as BC Hydro has continued to provide for our residents affected by flooding during the past month or so. No questions at this moment. So we will move on to our next presenter, which is Christine Carlson. Christine is the Resiliency Center branch manager for the Resiliency Center, obviously based in the city of Merritt. Christine, if you're able to unmute your mic, please go ahead.
Hi there. The Resiliency Center is open in Merritt at the Civic Center. Through the Resiliency Center, people can access Red Cross benefits as well as disaster financial assistance. The center will be closed from the 24th to the 26th, as well as the 31st and the 1st, but we have several options by phone if people need support. There's also psychosocial support on site, and that there's also a phone number that you can reach out to if you do need extra support during the holidays while the center is closed. We've been, oh, go ahead. We've seen about 2,500 people so far, and we have case managers contacting people to talk through what has happened and what supports they've gotten so that we can identify if there are needs that could be met through some of the services in the city. As well, we have a working group for health and wellness, and that is going to be hopefully supporting people through various stages and needs, and connecting different people with different resources that are available through the city so that we can offer more support.
Thank you for that update, Christine. You might have mentioned this, and pardon me if I glazed over when you did say it. The hours, they continue to be 9 to 4 daily, is that correct?
9 to 4 daily, yes. Monday through Sunday until, or except for the few days over the holidays that we will close.
As you mentioned, December 24, 5, 6, 31, January 1st. Now, there's a question in the chat for you, Christine, that I'd like to read out. How long do you, the city of Merritt, think that the Resiliency Center will be staying open?
It will stay open as long as it's needed by the community, and that might evolve. It might go from what it's doing now to become more of a support for the mental health and wellness and other programming that is available for as we move into different stages of recovery.
Absolutely. So indefinite still probably the best way to say that. I know it's been open for several weeks now, and you mentioned the usage. About 2,500 residents have come in at some point to the EOC in Merritt. What are the most common questions that you're getting? Because obviously there are flood-affected residents, Christine, who continue to likely be coming in brand new, even in the days that are happening now, and likely coming back needing clarity to some of their questions or concerns. Obviously, some of the steps are complicated with flood recovery. So what are the most common questions that you're getting?
Well, they really range. It depends on everybody's individual situation. Sometimes people are unaware of the benefits that are available. So it's helpful to talk and to see what there is. Obviously, people have never been through this before, so it's a new experience altogether. As well, how to get their tags signed off, and where to go for help to get mucking out their basements, or help with structural damage to their home, or whatever the individual circumstances are. Then we can help direct them to where to go and what's available in town. As well, the disaster financial assistance is there to support people who do not have flood insurance or who are under insured for this disaster. So they also range to, we've had people come in and needing just to sit and talk, and that's okay as well. We've got those services available most of the time, and we have, it's really a range of situations based on people's individual circumstances.
Naturally. Well, thank you for that update, Christine. It's tremendous work that you and your team are doing out of Merritt for Merritt residents, TNRD residents, and others who have been affected by flooding. So thank you for that. Thank you for adding extra details and for your presentation as well.
Thanks.
We'll carry on now. And again, my thanks to Christine Carlson from the City of Merritt Resiliency Center and to Sally Mcdonald from BC Hydro. There are no new questions in the chat for either of you. You're welcome to stay or go as you need as we continue our presentation. I'd like to move on now. I have three separate written updates to provide from different agencies. The first one being very brief from TELUS. We had mentioned last week in a written update from TELUS that they had been hoping to restore their temporary telecommunications service to the Spences Bridge area. As everyone in that area would well know, there was a delay in getting that residential service back online for telecommunications. TELUS now says that the Spences Bridge area will once again have internet service and cell service by Thursday. That's December 23rd, 2 days from now. That is the new timeline for restoring that service. Again, it's providing a service along the Highway 1 corridor, and once the permanent fixtures are done along the Highway 8 corridor, providing communications infrastructure to the Spences Bridge area, TELUS will have a backup in case of any future emergencies. It will have a redundancy on its line for that area. Obviously, it's been a challenging month for people in Spences Bridge who are lacking that service and have been without it for almost the entire time. I know I've seen lots of discussion about many residents in the area having to go to the spot at the last spike further up the Highway 1 corridor. So understand certainly that has been a struggle as many struggle through flooding in that area. So please know that is a couple days away from being online, according to TELUS. I have a longer update from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. The Deputy Director of the Thompson-Nicola District, Greg Bruce, was not able to take part in today's meeting, but he did give a written update in terms of highways and side roads in this area. Usually MOTI runs through that list during the Zoom meeting, so I'm going to do that now, and this information is on behalf of MOTI. The most significant status change in the past week since we last held our public info meeting, the Coquihalla Highway, as many would well know, back open to essential heavy commercial traffic only between Hope and Merritt. That reopened Monday, yesterday, just over 24 hours ago. With that, Highway 3 Hope to Princeton, which had been for essential traffic only, is now open to all traffic. Essential non-essential travel is being discouraged at this time by the BC government and by the Ministry of Transport. It is open, however, to all traffic. With that, Highway 5A between Aspen Grove and Princeton is also open to all traffic. Highway 99, Pemberton to Lillooet, or Lillooet to Pemberton, whichever way you're going, is open to vehicle traffic, passenger vehicle traffic as well. Of course, there is always a weight restriction on that road, 14,500 kilograms. That's open to all traffic as well at this point. Highway 1, Lytton to Spence's Bridge, closed. The MOTI is still expecting that to reopen in mid-January, and that will just be temporary repairs. Highway 8, of course, is closed. This is a long-term closure, obviously, with the significant damage caused by flooding in recent weeks, and there's no estimated time for reopening. In a few minutes, I will, in a moment anyways, I will refer to the weekly newsletters that are coming out now from MOTI on the flood recovery for Highway 1 between Spence's Bridge and Boston Bar, and for the Highway 8 corridor. That new newsletter came out yesterday. There is an update. As of today, MOTI said that Skihoon Creek and Manning Forest Service roads, which connect to Highway 8, of course, are expected to reopen today, but only for repair and utility vehicles. So there's still no general access for residential traffic or passenger vehicles on that route, but the hope is to bring that online shortly as well. More of those details are in the newsletter, and I'll point out where to find those in just a moment. And now I just wanted to get to some of the side roads and updates. Not much change since the past week. Coldwater Road is open from Brookmere to 500 meters north of the Kingsvale interchange. There's no estimate on when repairs connecting Kingsvale to that road will be completed. Major work will resume in the spring on that section. Brookmere residents can access Merritt still by Highway 5 or by Highway 5A to the east. The Gavilan Bridge is closed and repairs are underway. PD Creek Road is closed at the Canford Bridge, but off of Highway 8, but access is available at the Spias Creek Forest Service Road, so that's unchanged from last week. That's all the road updates that MOTI has, and it asks drivers to check Drive BC for the latest updates on conditions for highways and other roads throughout the province as well. Now, I did want to share my screen for a second and direct residents to, again, our page where we are sharing the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure newsletters on highway repairs. And I'll share this now. If we go over to the tnrd.ca homepage, many may have already done this. We are sharing this. If you go to Services, hover, and click on Emergency Services, you'll see on the sidebar on the left under Emergency Services, Highways 1 and 8 flood recovery pop up. And you go down a little bit and we are inserting the weekly updates as they come in from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. So here is an update from Highway 1 and an update as well from Highway 8. I mentioned the most significant updates being for Highway 8 and the partial reopening for emergency vehicles anyways to two Forest Service roads connecting. That's the Skihoon Creek and Manning Forest Service roads. Also in this update, MOTI has stated that Highway 1, while the temporary repairs are expected to be finished by mid-January, there are sections to watch out for. There will be an at-grade rail crossing, for example, at Tank Hill, which will be very different for people used to traveling that corridor. If essential travelers start using that again in January, there will be an at-grade rail crossing on that section. So certainly something you're not used to seeing. There'll be other sites where there will be reduced speeds, for example, in single lane sections. So these are all delays that travelers can expect. The permanent repairs, MOTI has said today that not expected to be done for up to 2 years, potentially. But again, temporary repairs to allow essential traffic to resume traveling between Spence's Bridge and Boston Bar, expected to be done in several weeks from now. And now just to scan to an update from when we go to Interior Health and an update. Not a whole lot of new information this week compared to last. So we were given the high-level notes from IHA of continued messaging for people to be aware of. The province has released information on private water well sampling. There's an initiative for those whose private wells have been impacted by flooding. And there's an info bulletin. We have shared this on the TNRD Facebook and Twitter pages in recent days for how residents can access this temporary program and apply as well. So do check our page for that information. We posted that on Friday afternoon. This is also available on the HealthLink BC website. When it comes to sample bottle kits for testing and sampling private wells that have been affected by flooding after they have been shocked, sample bottles are available Monday to Friday at the Merritt Health Center. They're available 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday to Friday. Again, that's the Merritt Health Center. And you can drop off water samples at, again, the Merritt Health Center. I'll give the address. That's 3451 Vaux Street, obviously in Merritt. Drop off water samples on Tuesdays only is what Interior Health is saying. Do it before 2:30 in the afternoon. I'd imagine you'd be able to start doing that at 8:30 in the morning, but that's Tuesdays. You can drop off water samples at the Merritt Health Center, whether that's today, whether that's next Tuesday, or others likely in the weeks to come. I'll share my screen again for a moment and point you to a different resource on the TNRD's page, as that's essentially the update from Interior Health that I had today. When we go to 2021 floods, again, I'm on the same page, emergency services on the left side. If I open 2021 floods, I can go to recovery and support information. And there's details here on relevant programs that have been in place for some time and continue to be in place. I'll just go down to the very bottom for a sec. Information that could be related to some of the information from Interior Health. There's a whole package that has been set up as a PDF on this page called under the tab of information for residents returning home. That's the TNRD reentry package. It's 25 pages, and there are sources that this is not necessarily TNRD resources, but we have pulled these resources from many other agencies when it comes to recovering after a flood and information from the BC government. Information from Interior Health and wells will be on this page as well. Cleaning up after a flood is other information. So I would encourage residents to use that resource to look and find any information that they think they might need for a reentry in our reentry package. Again, that's residents returning home after a flood event. Also, the same as it has been for some time, we continue to have information on disaster financial assistance, the dates of eligibility, November 14th to December 2nd for uninsured or underinsured residents who were affected by flooding at their primary residence within those days. You'll have to apply within 90 days of your flood event. So if you were affected by flooding on December 2nd, the deadline for you to apply is March 3rd. If you were affected on November 14th, for example, you'd have to apply by February 12th, 90 days after the flood event. And each accepted claim, you're able to receive up to 80% of total damage that's not insured, up to $300,000 if you do qualify. So a note for residents to keep that resource in mind as well. I wanted to move on to an update on evacuation orders. Very quick here, nothing has changed in some time. I'm actually going to share my screen once again here, take you to our evacuation status dashboard. Maybe the most significant update this week is the fact that this tool on our website is back working. I had mentioned in our update last Tuesday that our evacuation dashboard and the My Region view map were down very temporarily because of external issues that have come up. And those have been dealt with. In fact, the service had been completely restored as of Thursday. So there's been many days that this has been back online as perfectly normal. So information to keep in mind there. There remains 10 active evacuation orders among TNRD addresses. That's affecting 47 properties altogether within the TNRD. You'll see on this map, there are other areas, evacuation order areas are in red. This does not just cover TNRD zones, but this map also includes information on orders and alerts in other jurisdictions, whether municipalities or Indigenous communities. Of course, the Cooks Ferry Indian Band, the Chican Indian Band, and the New White Indian Band continue to have their own orders and alerts in place because of the recent flood event. So there's information when you click on these individual different parts of the map with the different orders and alerts in there as well. So a resource to keep in mind as well as we go forward. So we've talked about the Resiliency Center in Merritt, which is open again 9 to 4, 7 days a week at this point, besides the December 24th to 6 closures for the holidays, the December 31st and January 31st closures for the holidays as well. But there are phone numbers that can still be used for different resources. And the Merritt EOC phone line remains open as well, even though the Resiliency Center will be physically closed on those few days. And that's at 1950 Mammoth Avenue. There was the one-day pop-up Resiliency Center in Spence's Bridge last week. Residents in that corridor, or flood-affected residents who are staying in that corridor, perhaps Spence's Bridge, Ashcroft, Cache Creek, etc. There is a Resiliency Center by appointment based out of Cache Creek. That has been set up jointly by the TNRD and the nonprofit Gold Country Communities Society. So if you're requesting a Resiliency Center services, say you're looking to apply for disaster financial assistance or Red Cross relief or other measures, perhaps you need help moving livestock, you can contact, if you're in that corridor, the Gold Country Communities Society. I'll read the phone number off twice here. It's 250-457-6606. And again, that is for if you're looking to schedule an appointment to receive Resiliency Center services. That's the Gold Country Community Society based out of Cache Creek, 250-457-6606. And one other quick reminder on flood debris removal. Residents with a TNRD address continue to be able to call to have non-hazardous debris picked up from their property free of charge if they so choose. And that number to call for residents looking for that service is 250-377-2596. That's 250-377-2596 for residents looking to have, again, non-hazardous debris picked up. Please take pictures of debris before it is picked up from your property if you choose to use that service. That's a recommendation from us at the TNRD in case you need that information for insurance purposes. Same thing if you choose to drive flood debris to an eco depot yourself, you're asked to take pictures in case that might be needed for insurance claims related to flooding that you've experienced. So I've talked about all the resources available that continue to be in place for TNRD residents affected by flooding. And I'll just once again, as I always do in these, to urge residents to use Voyant Alert. You can go to the App Store on your iPhone or the Google Play Store on your Android phone to download the app called Voyant Alert. And you put in your address or any address that you'd like to monitor, in fact, for any emergency updates. And you will get notifications on your cell phone when there are evacuation orders or alerts put in place, for example, or if orders or alerts are lifted for those properties. We also will relay other relevant information, in this case related to the recent flood event, or in other times of year, perhaps during wildfires, if addresses need information passed on as well. So you get those push notifications. It's a very useful resource. It's been available for a couple of years now for TNRD residents, becoming more widely available in other jurisdictions as well. So we encourage you to continue to use that. And also, as mentioned, please be sure to continue to use Drive BC if you're looking to travel on the roads for up-to-date information on closures or travel advisories. Certainly, there is an intense weather system arriving for most of BC and hitting parts of the province as we speak. So do be aware of potential travel advisories and weather-related closures on roads as well. You can use our social media accounts. Again, all of these meetings get posted on the TNRD YouTube page. We're very active during emergencies on Twitter and Facebook as well, as many of you may be following along already on those resources. I'm just going to share my screen for one more quick second here and take you back to the TNRD homepage. And if you go right to the very front, if you were to type in tnrd.ca and you're on our homepage, if you wanted to receive our mailings related to emergencies or anything else that we send out as press releases or public notices, you can go down to the very bottom of our front page and simply input your email here and click sign up. And you'll be receiving our, again, those would be all of our evacuation orders and alerts, for example, but other news related to business not necessarily related to emergencies or other matters as well. So we'll end our public information there. My thanks for you for taking part and listening, and we continue to get through challenging times and unfathomable in some ways, again, what some of our residents have endured this year. Hopefully everyone is able to find some sort of peace over the holidays, and the TNRD again will be active daily in supporting flood affected residents. Our Emergency Operations Center remains open. It can be reached at 250-377-7188, and we'll continue to provide supports in the many days and weeks ahead. Thank you very much.